Okay, today for this project, we're going to work on 1-point perspective. So before we start, I'm just going to show you what the requirements are for this project for getting a 3. So requirements for getting a 3, correct use of 1-point perspective, 5 shapes or more, mostly original shapes. So by that I mean like not mostly like squares, rectangles, triangles. I want you to actually create some new shapes, something that I haven't really seen before. It's okay if you have like 1 triangle or 2, something like that, or square, but I want you to mostly have original shapes that you make. All shapes made of straight lines. This is completely based on use of the ruler and overlapping in 2 or more areas of your composition. Okay, so now let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, this is called 1-point perspective because everything connects to just 1 point. Okay, so I'm just going to put a point here. Your point could be anywhere. It can be literally anywhere on your paper. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's going to be my point. And now I'm going to start making my original shape. So I'm going to make a shape over here. Again, I have to use a ruler, so be really careful about using your ruler. Maybe I'll do something like this. Okay, so now there's my first original shape. Okay, so that's what I mean by original, like something a little different, not your, not your regular like rectangle, square, triangle. Okay, now every corner or every point on your shape has to be connected to the point. Okay, that's the rule that you follow for this. But if you find that you're going to connect something and it's going to go through your shape into this, then you don't do it. Okay, so for example, if I were going to connect this point to this point, I would have to draw a line through this. So I won't do it. Okay, you'll see what I mean as I go. So the easiest way to do this is to put your pencil on one of your points, okay? And then you kind of treat your ruler like a hinge, okay? So I hinge it over like that. I connect to my point and I draw my line, okay? Again, I go to my next point. Here's my next point. Put my pencil there. Use my ruler as a hinge, connect to my point. And I see already that if I draw that line, I'm gonna go right through this shape, so I don't do it, okay? Now I come to my next point, put it here, put my pencil here. I use my hinge and I go all the way to this point. And then I come down here to this point, use my ruler as a hinge, connect. Okay, so you start to see like it looks sort of 3-dimensional, which is really cool. And then over here, this is my next point. But again, if I were to connect to that point, I would have to draw a line through my shape. So I'm not going to do it. I leave it like that. Okay, so now that one's done. Now, one of the requirements was to make overlapping at least in 2 areas of your composition. So the way you can do that is you do one shape and all of the guidelines to go to your point. And then once that's done, you just find a place within that and you start a line, okay? So I'm just gonna go like this. So I'm just gonna literally lay my ruler on this, somewhere on this shape and guidelines. And I'm gonna draw a line out here and stop, because this is where this is gonna be overlapping my next shape, and continue my line over here. Okay, so I'm just drawing a line to make it look like it's going under this. And then I'm just gonna make a shape out of this line, okay? So this one I'm gonna keep it basic. Maybe I will make a triangle out of this one, okay? So I said before, it's okay if you have like 1 or 2 triangles or squares or rectangles or whatever, but I don't want your whole composition to be that. Okay, so now I have a triangle and it looks like this is over the triangle, which is great. So that's overlapping. And now I do the same thing, okay? So I connect every point of my triangle with this point unless it goes through. So let's start over here. I put my pencil here on the point and I use my ruler to kind of hinge over and connect to this point. Okay, I do the same thing over here, come to my next point, use my ruler to connect. And here, do I connect? No, because if I did that, I would go through my shape. We're not going to do that, okay? Now, I'm just going to keep going and working on this. And I'll do one more shape and show you one more time. And then after that, I will come back to you with the finished version, okay? So I'm going to come over here, which is slightly above this point, so you can see what that looks like, all right? So I'll make a shape up here. Just so that you can see what it looks like. Again, I'm shooting for original shapes. Okay, and then again, all my points connect to this point right here. Okay, so this point connects. This point over here connects. And if I were to connect this or this, it would go through. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay. So that's what it looks like. It kind of looks a little bit different if you move up. Then it looks like it's zooming down into this. So you could experiment with, you can put your point anywhere you want on your composition. It could be in the middle. It could be over here, over here, over here. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as you connect every point of your shape to that point, you are doing your correct 1-point perspective. Okay. All right. I'm going to continue with my next 2 shapes, and I'll show you what I have in a minute.